Hello and welcome to the Bald and the Beardiful. I'm Bryce.
I'm Chris.
And I'm bald.
I'm beautiful.
And it's been a bit since we've done a chaser episode. It's been over a week.
hmm Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, so this is our in between what's going on with our cover five. It's definitely been had its ups and downs for sure. Um, Definitely at least this, if anyone actually goes back and checks all the stats, which I don't recommend you do. That's a lot of listening, but so just listen to this and we'll tell you what's going on.
But first, you lose.
Lost, and I don't even consider it a loss at this point.
I know, and that's the sad part. It really should be a loss. Like it's that you're not supposed to enjoy the punishment, you weirdo.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know how much of I was going to enjoy it until it actually happened. I thought it would be worse. I mean, it wasn't even that bad, just because I even upped it, or I upped the punishment itself, because originally it was just to put it on, take a picture, and that's it. So let's take a look at it. I'm assuming it's the next slide.
For once ago, there we go.
There we are. So yeah, honestly, it wasn't. It's like, I thought it came out great. So when I first did it, I was I took this
You cut out
picture
there
at
for
my
a second. I don't know if it recorded, but I couldn't hear it. You want to repeat that?
I was saying I didn't tell anyone I was doing this.
Okay.
So when I put the white dye in my beard, let it dry ish, and then started putting all the bells in. Which I got the bells from like a beard kit. So not only did I get the bells, I also got like the beard oil, the beard wash, like I got some stuff that actually I probably really needed, including like some scissors and trimmers. But put it on, and I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I was sitting on the couch with my friend Matt in the kitchen behind me, and he's talking to me, telling me a full story. He's who has no idea what I've done yet. He walks over, looks at me for a second, continues the conversation, and then when he's finally done, he goes, "Okay, by the way, about the beard." I'm like, I was wondering when you were gonna freaking say something. He didn't want to cut his train of thought. So it was pretty funny.
I do like the fact that you had to specify that it was white beard dye that did this whole thing, and not that you just let other things dry on your beard. I'm just pointing that out.
Okay. Anyway,
Hey, you were
so
spending the weekend with Matt. We know. I mean, sorry, Kate.
it was a day. I was there for a day, and the next day or no, actually this same day, I started the morning there, and then we went to Busch Gardens down in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I wore this throughout the entire day. So I showed up, saw my mom, her boyfriend, my other brothers and sisters. They all saw this. We walked around Busch Gardens, and I'm gonna admit I now know what it feels like to be a hot girl, because everyone was looking at me. Everybody. I'm not even kidding. Guys, girls, everyone was looking at me.
So,
I would catch people looking at me. I look, stare at them back, and they'd shake my head and would jingle the bells, and they would snicker and run away. It was hilarious. I loved it. Loved the
so
attention.
are you trying to tell us that you're a hot girl trapped in an ugly girl's body?
I mean, aren't we all? But it ended up being a good time.
All
So
right. You paid up. I don't think it should count just because you enjoyed yourself.
it's not my fault you took a bad bet.
Well, it wasn't that I took the.
This could have been you. Well, not quite. You don't have quite the beard I do right now.
No, I was growing it out for a minute, but then like work stuff got around, like holiday parties and things like that, where I had to have meetings with higher ups, so I couldn't really be as disheveled in order to be able to grow out
Yeah,
my
no,
beard.
my beard is way too curly. It's hard to get it straight. Like I have to trim it like at least once a week, so that way it doesn't get like too bushy. No,
But
it was a good day.
it's all right. We have some future ones. I'm sure we'll have some. We still have a couple weeks left. We have what this week? We'll no, we only have this week and next week, right? I'm sure
Correct.
we have at least we'll come up with at least one more side bet. I'm sure. 'Cause
I mean,
we don't have a side
we
bet this week, do we? Because we both took. Because there's no Thursday night game. There's Saturday and Monday. I don't think we took anything as far as
well, I think we both took a Saturday game,
yeah.
but yeah, no side bet for this week. But we did come up with an overall bet for next week, and we can discuss that. I think we have another side bet later,
Yeah,
right?
we do. All right, so let's hop
All right.
into playoffs. Talking
Playoffs. Playoffs. I don't know the actual quote. Every time I hear that, that's exactly what I think about.
if we had some sort of producer slash video editor, we might be able to get a soundbite in there, but we don't.
Right? Yeah. No, we're not that special with this stuff. It's just meant to be fun and uncut and raw and what else. But what are your thoughts on this so far?
So looking at who's in the hunt, like, well, do we can end with Cleveland and they're like 1% craziness, that perfect week that has to occur in order for them to be able to actually make the playoffs, but they are not mathematically eliminated at this point.
No.
Looking at the start, let's just go left to right. We'll start with the AFC. No surprise with Baltimore or really New England, especially since New England cheats, like we all know. Uh,
Even this past week. I mean, who cheats against the Bengals?
apparently they need it. Apparently, I don't think that they're as good as like. I mean, I I think it's that thing, right? Like they could get away with it because they're like, oh, seriously, who would ever like would the New England really cheat against the Bengals of all teams? Yeah, they would, and that's but we like blow it off like that's not a thing, and then they get away with it because no punishment really came of them. I think they might have gotten fined, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like at this point, like these franchises and players have so much money, the fines that they give them only hurt the lower paid players, like the players that are like making league minimums. Those are the only ones that really get hurt by fines. Players that are making big money, right? Um, they they don't care, and a lot of times, depending upon what team they play for, the fans will start GoFundMe's to pay for their fines, right?
Really, I haven't seen these.
Pouncey. When Pouncey got fined for defending Mr. Rudolph in
Yep.
that scuffle with Miles Garrett, yeah, there was a GoFundMe that was started by a fan to pay Pouncey's fines.
Hmm. I mean, at least it's one that made sense, seeing how he was defending a teammate versus someone who like outright, does a helmet to helmet or another player or headhunting that's no
Those
longer
don't
allowed.
happen. At least I don't feel like those really happen, right? Um, I'm saying like when they have those stupid fines, like that they because they wore the wrong cleats and they fine them like $10,000 or something like that. I don't know.
God forbid you show a little bit of individuality. Then again, I know everyone has to wear, you don't want to confuse the other team thinking that they're, one team or the other. But
Because their shoes are
some,
going to give that confusion.
I'm just saying that there's limitations on what else they can do, not necessarily sticking with the shoes. I don't remember. I don't remember the full story, but there was a story of I don't think it was an NFL team. I think it was a college team that sewed football shaped brown patches on the suits because it wasn't technically illegal. So that way teams would think that the random people would have the ball in the heat of the moment. They actually had to make that a rule that you couldn't do that. It's like, what?
Oh,
It wasn't in the rule book. Why can't I do this?
exactly. And now it is, but it is,
Right.
and it's always always that one person, right?
If anybody remembers, we did a segment back when we were talking about overrated and underrated teams, and I think it's time we revisit our choices. What do you think?
We haven't even gotten to the NFC side of the playoff bracket yet. We literally talked about number one and number two on the AFC side.
Yeah. I mean, how much more do you need to know? They've been looking at it for like 2 minutes now. Yeah.
I'm surprised that Buffalo is in this, even though it is a wild card spot. I'm impressed by Buffalo this season. I think they deserve to be mentioned. Um, I mean, I'm sure that they're real excited to have time on our little podcast.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna really bring attention to their season.
I mean, being one game below the Patriots is, I mean, in that, seeing how Patriots have dominated that division year after year after year, when you're that close to them in that division, it's a pretty good feat.
Oh, for sure. And with the personnel, like they don't really necessarily have any breakout stars, right? Their quarterback is really good. I mean, he's very Brady-esque in that he elevates those around him. I also think it's crazy that he is taller than all of his receivers by a good margin. Did I lose you
Um,
there? Or are you just
no,
thinking
I'm
about?
thinking, well, because I was also thinking that John Brown came from, I think he most recently came from, not the Steelers. He was at the Steelers for a while. I don't think he went somewhere else before he went the Bills. But Brown has been doing decently well over the season, even though he's not like, he's not like Antonio Brown or someone, but he's still a decent player.
Oh yeah, no, he has deep threat like speed, but he's not tall. So, well, he's a burner. He doesn't necessarily have. It's not one of the. He's not one of those receivers where you can put up a 50-50 ball and there's a good chance he's going to come down with it. Right? They have Cole Beasley, former Cowboy, former.
Right.
I mean, great slot receiver, but once again, smaller dude. He's only like 5'10". Um, has good speed, great route running, but once again, like you're not gonna be able to like throw it up. And he's a, he's a slot player. Like your slot receiver isn't necessarily going to make or break uh, your, your receiving core, but at the same time adds depth, right? If you have a good slot receiver that adds depth to your elements of what you can do in the uh, plays you can call, right? Running back wise, they have Singletary and uh, um, Frank Gore, right? Yeah, Frank Gore coming towards the end of his career. Nothing crazy. Singletary is a he's he's not a rookie. He's in his second season, I think. But definitely could potentially be a standout, but hasn't really put up standout numbers. That also could be the personnel that's around him. Running backs are contingent on the O line you put in front of them. Just look at Le'Veon Bell, elite running back. I believe he was no, he made league MVP when he was with the Steelers, didn't he? At some point.
I think so.
Yeah, and now he's with the Jets, and he hasn't done much of anything. Right, his numbers are nowhere near where they were
Well,
in previous seasons.
I think I kind of believe in that a running back is only as good as their offensive line.
Agreed. But I think Buffalo's performance is indicative of solid team play, solid coaching, and consistently showing up every week. And I think that that's I think it's good.
Any surprise that Kansas City's is going to the playoffs?
Not really. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes definitely is a force to be reckoned with. Not quite on Lamar Jackson's level at this point, um, but definitely definitely someone that can extend plays with his legs. Uh, he has a good arm, good accuracy. Just looking at when Tyreek Hill is streaking down the field and how often he hits him and on the money hits him, it's pretty crazy. They have arguably the best tight end in the league in Travis Kelce. Uh, their running back committee is super solid. Any one of the running backs in the Kansas City backfield can break one off at any time. So
Oh yeah.
it's not like you can play certain schemas based on who's in the backfield, because that does happen sometimes with um, other teams that when they're doing a running back committee, certain running backs are statistically it's going to be more of a passing scenario versus a running scenario based on who's in the backfield, like New England with Sony Michel or James White. James White has a lot more receiving yards and plays under his belt versus Sony Michel. There isn't a pass catcher. They're not going to be throwing to him. So it's probably unlikely that there's going to be a pass thrown to the running back if if Sony Michel's in the backfield. Those types of things. I think that they have a good element to it. I don't see them beating Baltimore though. I know that they have to get past New England in order to get into the AFC Championship, but let's say that they do. They have the capacity to beat New England. I think New England at this point is not the team to beat. Baltimore is. So as it shakes out right now, I think we see a Baltimore KC AFC Championship. Not that I'm rooting against the Steelers, just from a talent matchup. I don't think the Steelers are going to get past KC. If this is the current like playoff,
even if
equal.
Steelers even get there, I mean they got to beat the Jets, and the Jets are being wildly inconsistent. And then after that, they got to play the Ravens, who depending on if they play, how they play, it could either be a close game, or they can get blown out. Steelers do need to make something happen if they're gonna even be like considered a actual threat in the playoffs against some of these good, really good teams.
All right, let's go ahead and flip it over to the NFC side.
Seahawks going toe to toe with San Francisco for their division. That's a good one.
Oh, the Seahawks! I thought the Seahawks had their division locked up at this point.
They're tied up with San Francisco right now.
Yeah, but they own the tiebreaker, right? Because they beat San Francisco. I thought, or is it down to? Because they're the number one in they're number one in the division. I don't think San Francisco can take the NFC West from the Seahawks at this point.
Even if Seahawks lose?
Yeah, because they have more. I believe they have more divisional wins. Because San Francisco didn't lose to LA.
Well, even so, they still have a tied record. How could they not get it taken away from them? That doesn't make sense. Seahawks are 11-3. 49ers are 11-3. So if 49ers beat the Rams and Seahawks somehow lose to the Cardinals, 49ers are now top of their division. How does that not make sense?
Isn't it locked up though? Like I swear it said like it has a little like Y next to the Seahawks name. That says that they've locked up their division.
Hang on. They have an X next to their name.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. They've clinched a playoff berth. The X means that they've clinched a playoff berth. So now, no matter what happens for the rest of the season, they will make the playoffs. I guess it's a pretty big swing, actually. Yeah. Then
I was looking at that actually, and I was wondering what that meant, because the Saints have that as well, and I saw that Ravens had the Y, Chiefs have the Y, so they're all locked in. But you got Patriots with an X, Seahawks with an X, Packers with the next, 49ers with the next. So all of those teams are going to the playoffs. Just don't know where they're going.
Yeah, it's just a matter of where it shakes out. Okay, so there's actually a lot more kind of excitement than I thought for the week, just because I was assuming a lot more teams had their spots locked up.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's no way that they're completely locked up with a team that's that close to them. But then again, I mean, who else in their division is going to catch them?
Yeah. Oh no, no, nobody in the NFC West outside of. Well, technically, I guess LA is still in the hunt, but they're in the hunt for a wild card spot, right?
Right.
But that would require either Seattle or San Francisco to. I believe it requires. Oh no, actually, no, it does. It requires Seattle and San Francisco to tank. I believe one of them to completely spiral. They might be able to catch Minnesota if Minnesota completely were to lose too. I guess there's some scenarios where LA still makes it, but I don't think it's quite as dire as the Browns 1% chance.
Right. Because right now Rams are above they're above the NFC East high high scorer, so we're not quite sure who's going to go right now as far as Cowboys and Eagles.
Well, it
But
has to be. It's only the division winner. Nobody.
oh
The
yeah,
other
only
team.
the division winner. But I'm saying is Rams are still ahead of their second place guy by at least one game at the moment, and NFC North's got they're ahead of their third place, and they're ahead of NFC South second place. So they have a decent chance of getting there as long as they can perform. Obviously.
All right. I think, well, other than the fact that, yeah, Philly and the NFC East is the worst division in football. I think it's still pretty ridiculous that they're real close to having a losing record, which I believe the Seahawks still hold that title for the only team with maybe not the only team, but the most recent team in football history to go to the playoffs with a losing record.
I don't. If I do remember hearing that, I've heard it a couple of years before. I don't remember who or when, but yeah, it's such an interesting concept. I remember asking why is that a thing? How is that possible? And that was before I knew exactly how the playoffs worked.
Yeah, it's because they took their division, and their division was especially trash
Yeah.
at that point.
No, why are you going? Because we're the best of the worst, baby.
Basically, right? Um, Minnesota has some injuries though. Like, I mean, I guess like I think they can still pull through, but they do have some injuries that they're going to need those players to come back to make a deep playoff run. But if those injuries continue, uh, I think their playoffs are going to be short lived.
Quite possibly. Is Thielen still out?
Taylor still has a hamstring injury. I don't know if he's necessarily out, but I think it's one of those things like if they can get away with resting him, they will, just so that they do have him in the playoffs. Dalvin Cook has an injury, I believe, so I don't think he's playing this week. Um, those are not that they haven't been winning without Thielen, but they've been winning without Thielen because Dalvin Cook's been going off, right? Um, so not having both of them makes a difference. I mean, they still have Stephon Diggs, but that's their only real like receiving threat. So, you know, you need to add that extra element, especially as you get through um, get through the playoffs. You're playing good teams. You're not playing slouch teams or teams that are that don't have a postseason necessarily. Um, obviously, because you're in the postseason. So you definitely are going to need the additional threats. All
Time
right,
will tell. Yeah, time will tell.
moving on. So we're talking about um, Jason Garrett potentially and hopefully losing his job.
Hopefully, coming from the Cowboys fan, he says hopefully.
Well, no, like he's done okay. Let's just say that he's done okay as a coach. He just doesn't have the killer instinct. There's I forgot what the statistic is as far as um, based on the head coaches that um, that came in during his time, like the same time about the same time he came in as a head coach. Every other head coach has at least one Super Bowl, whereas Jason Garrett does not, based on his tenure, his stats. The numbers for the Cowboys during his tenure show that like he really should have won a Super Bowl, or at the very least have gone to a Super Bowl um, at this point, but has not. I just don't think he has the killer instinct. I think he's an okay coach, right? Like he's not that championship coach, and that's gonna happen, right? And it's time to move on. No harm, no foul. Like if your whole point, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're defining success as, right? If he was consistently making, I would say this: if he's consistently making deep playoff runs, making making a go of it, fine. But they're just not. They're getting either coming up short to go to the playoffs, or in true Cowboys fashion, in particular trends, they make the first round of the playoffs and then get eliminated.
So he's been coach since 2010, from what I'm seeing. In From what I'm looking at, if this is correct, he's out of the 9 years he's been coaching, he's gone to the playoffs 3 times. In the first time he won one game and lost the next. That was 2014. 2016 he just lost the first game, and then in 2018 won one, lost one. And it says just out of pure information, 2014 lost to Green Bay, 2016 lost to Green Bay, and then 2018 lost to the Rams, which obviously, seeing how Rams went to the Super Bowl last year, we all kind of knew that. But yeah, not a great win percentage inside of the playoffs.
Nope.
No ties though in the regular seasons. Not one tie.
It's win or lose.
Yeah. Out of the regular season, to I guess, in order to get to, or on the road to the playoffs. Again, just more interesting facts about the Cowboys team. They every time they came in second place for the NFC East, they didn't go to the playoffs. So I wish that can only means that they didn't have a good enough record. Like, they either had to be first or they weren't going.
Yep, that sounds about right. All right.
It happened twice.
So with that, we talk about some replacements. There's a few rumors floating around, right? So Urban Meyer is probably I think it was the first one, but it is also the top one. Urban Meyer, former Florida head coach, former Ohio State head coach, multiple college championships. I'd be down for that.
So I'll be honest, this is more your forte, talking about other coaches. I have no freaking idea. I mean, the only guy that I know of on this list was Jim Harbaugh, and that was because he was his 49ers. He's third down on the list. I don't know what that actually means. Who the hell knows who they're going to actually bring on? But I remember he was the very enthusiastic 49ers coach, and then got kind of, I'm not going to call it demoted, but he went down to college football for a while, and I think they even paid him more. I don't even know if that's true, but
he's still the current.
Even though he was either let go or just left, but he wasn't hurting for a job.
No, he had it lined up. He knew he was not going to be continuing. I believe it just was the end of his contract, and he just wasn't going to continue on. And he is still the current head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, but has not been performing as far as overall performance, doing well, but they have lost every rivalry weekend against Ohio State under Jim Harbaugh, which is a big deal. That's a huge rivalry. They needed that's very much a stain on his record as head coach there, to not have been able to take one from that team. You know what I mean? But you say he started because it's Lincoln Riley is number 2 on the list right now, the Oklahoma head coach, as far as odds of coming in, right?
Right.
And then last is Nick Saban. I don't think Nick Saban has the right strategy to come in for the Cowboys. I don't think it trends. I don't think currently, necessarily that he's not capable. I just don't feel what he's currently shown, his current strategy would translate into professional working with the professionals. But not to say that he's not necessarily capable. That's to be seen, obviously.
I guess a little bit of background. Nick Saban. Apparently, he's been at University of Alabama since 2007. He's used to be a defensive back. I mean, so he's obviously lived around this game.
Mm-hmm. But no, I think Lincoln Riley or Urban Meyer. I think those definitely still top choices. I think that they fit with the, you know, scheme, if you will, based on current personnel and capacity. I think they would do good things.
Oh, we have to wait and find out. See what they choose. I mean, I don't think they're gonna let him go before the play. You think they at least hang on to him for the full year?
Well, yeah, because Jerry Jones said it. He said that if the Cowboys didn't win a Super Bowl, that Jason Garrett would be done, right? So if they get eliminated from the playoffs, I think that coincides with his job being no longer his. He will be promoted to fan,
Yeah.
and go from there, right?
Sorry, just naming that early for me. Now, what's next?
The continuation of our side bet, kind of a
Oh,
status.
we didn't even talk about our previous picks from the overrated underrated.
Oh, we can go back.
Yeah, let's
Overrated,
go.
underrated. Go ahead.
Well,
It's fine.
so for mine, if anyone remembers, I picked Browns for overrated, which apparently stand by. I mean, you told me it was the easy way out, but I kind of have to stand by it. Like they acted like a team in the beginning, and then as they kept losing, they're more and less becoming a team. Have you heard the news about like the trend their players are taking? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I can't say I
So
do.
I guess like it's becoming a habit for the Browns, or for like Beckham or Landry or whomever to walk up to the opponent sideline doing the "come get me," like "come trade for me," like "You get me, let's get the S out of Cleveland."
So they're over there like trying to, that's hilarious. That they're trying to negotiate a trade for them, the opposing teams. That's truly awesome.
Oh God. So yeah, overrated team. They were talked up a lot, but they haven't quite performed that way. And my underrated team, which unfortunately kind of stayed underrated, was the Giants. I thought they were going to do a lot better. Honestly, I think they've at least put up a fight in most of their games, but they're still 3-11, and no, they're not even close to playoffs. And heck, even Eli came back. And like they sat Eli and put him as number two, and they brought him back and did fantastic in the first half, and absolutely got crushed in the second. So that one, yeah, I was a little disappointed in how they performed. Do you remember yours?
My overrated team was the Rams, and I still stick by that. Like they're defending NFC champions, just really have not performed at all. Yeah, they're still in the playoff hunt technically, but I don't see that coming to fruition just based on where they're sitting and what all that would need to occur. Right. Oh yeah, and then my underrated team was Indy, right? Which,
Yes,
eh,
they're doing well.
eh,
They're
not
not
too
are they?
bad.
They're not exactly in the hunt though, are they?
Not anymore. They got eliminated
Yeah, that's too bad.
from playoff. Well, from a playoff run, they've been eliminated. They're not in the hunt anymore. Um, but I still think, yeah, overall, I don't think they performed poorly overall, right? Like,
No,
we're
they've had a lot of injuries this year with Brissett going out, with Hilton going out. So I think they definitely, if they were at full power, they could have done a little better. But yeah, they kind of got the short end of the stick on some games.
yeah. So overall, wasn't an awful overrated pick or completely off. So, but who knows? Good things to come for. I think we'll see some good things to come from the Colts next season if they can stay healthy.
I think that kind of sums up our overrated, underrated.
All right,
So
now.
now we talk about our last side bet of the season.
All right, so continuation weeks 15 and 16, right?
Right.
Most points for those 2 weeks. Um, the winner gets to pick the loser's week for week
Well,
17,
well,
right?
the winner gets to pick their picks, and the loser has to take the opposition.
That's right. So essentially the same thing.
No, because it sounds like the loser has a choice. The loser has no choice.
That's true.
But it'll be fun. Do you remember what we're standing at right now? I know I'm
I'm at
winning. I
minus
think
19. You're at plus 17 and a half.
I think so. Oh wait, I don't know why I had that written down. I don't know what the heck I was looking at that for.
Uh,
I was trying to look it up the hard way. Yeah, that's right.
and this last week, actually, as far as like week to week, that gave you the lead as far as weeks one,
Oh
correct?
yeah. So yeah, we were talking about that in the previous episode. We're gonna find out who's actually won the most weeks so far this season. And it's been like the first 6 weeks were back and forth. Like the first 6 games, it was Chris, myself, Chris, myself, Chris, myself, and then I won 2 weeks after that. Then it went back to Chris, myself, and Chris won 2 weeks back to back, and then me, then Chris, then me again. So like it's alternated very well in how much we do not know how to play this game. But it ends up being Chris with 7 wins and myself with 8.
Yeah, yeah. I think for next season when we do this, we should change it up and do like original picks, but we can also modify our picks, you know, for and then we'll just as like in the chaser episode or the
We can do
recap.
the as it stands. This is where we're at, but
Yeah.
and then we can do a comparison to what we would have had versus what we changed it to.
Yeah, because that's also a part of it, right? Like we said that we wouldn't change them, but I think that's hurt us in the long run because that's never the case of in past seasons. The spreads come out on Tuesday. I maybe make my picks on Wednesday, make my initial picks on Wednesday, avoid the Thursday night game, and then I look at injury reports, I look at weather, like I do a little bit more research. I can't do that like I can't do that this season because we make our final picks by Wednesday typically. Um, and so that like if injuries come out or people are like questionable, like is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? And then like it's kind of a coin flip at that point because that like what was it? I think there was one week where I didn't know that T.Y. Hilton ended up being out when I made the pick, or no, I took the opposite pick because at the time T.Y. Hilton wasn't pacing to end up playing, and then he ended up playing and they ended up destroying the team, right? But
Right.
had he not played, it's a different game that's something I would adjust for. Just an example, not to say I mean it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but I think for viewers' sake, I think they would like to see us win.
I don't know. Do you think
More
they'd
so than
laugh
continue to collect negative
at the
points.
points? That's actually a good segue to where we're overall standing right now because out of is it 100 and 114 teams that we're
Yep.
playing with, I I think I'm at 92. I'm at 92nd place with a negative 39 overall points, and I kind of well, I mean, I kind of blame like my week. What is that? That was 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11th week where I was negative 28 and negative 20 back to back. That was a rough week. And then Two Girlies One Cup is at 100th place with negative 121 points.
I ended up on the bad side of multiple blowouts. And that's
Yeah.
really what brought it where it was at. I just couldn't find that rhythm to whereas in past seasons I had some I in past seasons I had gone negative but not by a whole lot. I think I had mostly like maybe had a one negative 20 week in the entire season. Whereas this one, like I was consistently negative, but it is just on the opposite side of number of blowouts
No,
this season.
shout out to Deep Pry for being in 16th overall with 158.5 points.
She's been good. She's been consistent, but she does not have the highest finish out of all of our friends. I still hold that title, even though I'm 100th overall on a week. Nobody has.
Yes, we know you need to toot your own horn because no one
I,
else is going to do it for
I
you.
took a second place. I took second place. Did you place it all in the top seven? This top seven, like like you could have been in the top seven and gotten money back. Did you place in the top seven at all this season?
Also, who we're playing with, as an honorable mention, we have Bakers and Chains, who's at 36th place with 106 points, trying to find Dilly Dilly. I haven't seen him yet. He can't be. He's not that far down, I didn't think.
Well, Dad. Actually, while you're out here, we should get Dad
Se-
to hop on this.
75th place with 15.5 overall points.
Wait, where's he at?
75th.
75th. Okay.
Either way, like all the three people that I know of besides you, like they're all just whipping our ash.
I mean, but they're also not like most of them are picking like on Saturday. Sometimes Sunday morning, I've literally been driving to the Cardinals game and Dad's still making his picks in the car.
Seems to be a smarter pick than what we're doing.
Well, yeah, because you have all the up to date.
Too much.
Yeah, if you skip the Thursday night game, which is usually pretty safe, minus like who's doing what, right?
Right.
And hop into, and then like you make your picks on Saturday or even Sunday morning, first thing Sunday morning, as long as you get up in time to make sure that they don't
figure out who's playing, who's not playing, who's injured, who's not, what's the weather like, are they going to be able to catch the ball, so like you stay away from the really rainy games or the really windy games for the kickers or what have you.
Yeah, so if you're looking for high scoring, depending upon who it is, that's going to make a difference.
Indeed.
So yeah, something for next season we can do that.
I'm still hoping I can end on a positive note. There's 2 weeks that I can at least end the whole season positive. You're a lost cause, but
not true, not true at all.
No.
I got my second place finish. I got positive 72 points. I'm at minus 121. I basically need positive 60 points this week and positive 60 points next week, and I'm even.
And the Browns need 8 teams to lose out of the next 2 weeks in order to get to the playoffs. So we will all keep our fingers crossed.
I still think I have a better chance of going positive than the Browns have of going to the playoffs.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying it's a pretty close comparison.
Sure.
So we didn't come up. So we said that there was going to be another side bet for the week 17 game. Basically, that's just who does better that week. So whoever has the advantage definitely has control over having a bigger opportunity of winning that bet. But did we decide what we wanted to do for that yet? Because we're going to be together.
Yeah, we're going to be together. So we decided it had to be something. Something that we could do, something that we would do together, right?
Well, actually, I do have an idea. I just don't know if it would be allowed. Because usually, for those who don't know, Chris and I have a almost shared birthday of the 31st and the 1st. And usually, Chris's tradition for his birthday is to go play some poker. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I'm still doing that.
So that's why I was leaving on the 2nd, because I wanted to stay and play some poker with you. I was thinking, and I don't know why it wouldn't be allowed, but then I don't know why it would. Do you remember a long time ago when we first watched basketball?
I do not remember the first time we watched basketball.
We were in the Cameron Creek apartments, and I think it's the first time I watched it. You really showed it to me. And Squeak is wearing the pineapple costume at the end.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking because a long time ago what we wanted to do was run up and down the hill with someone in a hunter outfit with the big net chasing the pineapple guy, yelling, "Who wants pina coladas?"
Yeah, but we have to find the costumes and be able to rent the costumes. So, Are you saying that like
I'm sure
the loser has to be the pineapple?
Just for while we play poker.
Oh, we have to wear. We may not be able to necessarily wear the full costumes because that pineapple costume. There's no way you'd be able to fit in the seat at the table. That won't
Well,
happen. But we could do
well,
some.
I was thinking like a dumbed down version of that. Um, like we could easily, if you can find you can easily go online and probably find a costume where it just covers like the torso that's not that big or so, or even better, you find like a good pineapple printed shirt and then wear the crown.
Yeah, we could get creative with it. I'm sure. Yeah, we could find like a pineapple shirt, and and like yeah, we have to wear some sort of like headpiece during.
During poker on your birthday.
Yeah, and then yeah, the hunter
Because
outfit's pretty easy to put together as well.
oh, you want to do winner gets to wear the hunter
Oh,
outfit?
you're just saying the
We
loser
can
just
do.
has to wear the pineapple?
I am more than willing to do both. I think either way would be a lot of fun.
The hunter outfit isn't necessarily a punishment because it's pretty easy because you just need a plain like two pocket like tan khaki button up and like a pair of like tan dickies, right? Would totally work for that outfit. I'm sure we could find some sort of hat to wear, right?
All
In
right.
that because we're gonna sit at the same table,
Yep.
right?
It's like, are you two together? No, why?
Yeah, that'll be hilarious. I think that'll
is,
be great.
is that a good bet then?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, and we'll take pictures. We'll post it on the Facebook. I'm gonna post my beard picture on the Facebook once we're finished here, and so it'll probably be on there before I post the video. Um, so yeah, sounds like a bet.
All right, sounds good. I think we can. I think we can take it out.
All right, you got it. Go for it.
All right, smash that like button, subscribe, notification jingle bells, if you will. Find us on Facebook, Bald and Beardiful. Email us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com. Send us your Christmas wishes, what you're asking for Santa, New Year's resolutions, deep thoughts, shower thoughts.
Dear God, no. I know the four people that religiously actually watch our videos. No, I don't want to hear what their shower thoughts are.
uh, until next week.
Have a good one, guys.